Hi there. My name is Betsy Coe, and what you just heard is the technical etude to audition for ILMEA's Junior District Band. This is a brand new piece of music written especially for you by composer Elaine Fine. She's a flutist too, so she knows just how to write for her instrument. Now, let's have a quick lesson on this joyful piece of music so that you can have fun with it and deliver your best performance. The key to this is the word giocoso right at the start of the piece. This word is in Italian. Do you notice that it sounds a lot like jolly, joyful, and joke? Even though those English words begin with J, they're all related back to the Italian word giocoso and can help you remember its meaning so that you play the piece in a lighthearted, happy way. Right, so this is the technical etude, so it's time for us to talk about scales and arpeggios. This piece is in C major, so if you practice your C major scale and arpeggio, you will be in terrific shape to perform it. Let's look a little more closely at measures 11, 13, and 14 that have some tricky parts to them. In measure 11, we have a skip at the end of the bar. So you want to make sure that you get the skip from the F to the D. It might help you to mark that in your music by circling the notes or just putting a little upside down V over the F and D. That helps me. Then going ahead to measure 13, now we start to have some accidentals. So notice that you've got two D flats. You probably want to mark that second D flat. And there is also a skip at the end of this bar. Moving to measure 14, we have D flat still, and generally when we have a D flat, we expect that we'll also have an A flat, but we do not in this measure. So be very careful here. You might even want to put a reminder natural over the A. Here's how measure 14 sounds. The other scale that you'll want to practice is D melodic minor. This will help you with the grace notes in measures 15 through 18. You actually have this scale written out for you in measure 4 of your scale sheet. Now let's talk about the grace notes. You have these at the very beginning and also in measures 15 through 18. In the beginning, we are in C major, and the grace notes are the second half of your C major scale. Do your best to help us hear each pitch clearly and distinctly. Try not to gliss or smear these. First, I would recommend that you practice the passage with your metronome and no grace notes. Now we're going to add the grace notes back in. Take care to push them as close to the beat as you can make them, because technically grace notes do not have any real time value of their own. Try and match the position of all the other notes from the version you just did. The other thing we should talk about is the articulation. If you notice, the second C in measure 1 has both a dot over it, and it also appears to be part of the slur. So this is what we call a clip. It just means that you should slur into the C, but chop it off. End it as quickly as possible. Going down to measures 15 through 18, here you are in D minor, or if you want to think of it as D major, that will work too. Be very careful that you get a C sharp. in these grace notes. So the grace notes slowly are. So sometimes when you're going from B to C sharp, it's easy to not coordinate the two fingers from B to C sharp. So take a good listen and make sure you're getting a C sharp and not a C natural. The dynamics in this etude are simpler than what we have to do in the lyrical etude. We start forte, and notice we do drop down to mezzo forte in measure 4, but we also drop down to the lowest register of our instrument. So this dynamic change should happen pretty naturally without too much effort on your part. Pay attention, though, to the crescendo in measure 14. In this measure, you are crescendoing while you are descending. So that always takes more focus and concentration to make that happen. Let's talk about the final low C. You have a 2-octave jump to get to it, and a lot of fingers that have to come down evenly and firmly to make sure that the low C happens. Here's a little trick that works for me. I move my right pinky over to the C key while I'm playing the grace notes. This won't bother the sound quality of the G, A, B, C, and it ensures that my pinky is in place for the low C. Watch my right pinky carefully in this little clip, and you'll see it in action. The last thing we should talk about is tempo. My performance was at quarter note equals 100, but don't feel like you have to play at 100 or even faster than that. When choosing a tempo, you always want to be sure that your technique is nice and clean. I'd rather hear a slower, clean performance than a faster, messy one. Regardless of what tempo you pick, use your metronome. And if you can put it on an 8th note subdivision, that will help make sure that your 16th notes are nice and even in each beat. That's it for today. Good luck with your audition and enjoy this etude.